Then, to allow us to look into the week in review, we will have two guests. One of them is here on time, and he is the Wiper NEC member, Kamau Wa Mbiu. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
We're taking a look at the week in review. There are many things that have happened of bills. As the most recent one, the finance bill was actually passed by a majority of the votes in Parliament yesterday.
I don't think it was majority though, but yeah.
Of the votes of people who are present. Yesterday it was the majority. We can talk about who was present and who was not. And like we've said, if you were not there,
you voted for it.
You voted for it. Yeah. But let's get into it in just a minute. We'll talk about some of those things that we can already hear what your opinion is about some of those things. Deals and demands that are being made. The president's out of the country. KRA is being redesigned. We don't know how much for. But okay, a lot of these things come into play. And even as we do that, Dennis has taken us to a country that maybe you don't know where it is.
Guinea-Bissau.
I know where it is.
You know where it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The people of Guinea-Bissau are called Guineans of Bissau. Right? They have hippos that swim in salty water, as opposed to what we know this side of the woods. But the problem that we get from this country that has large areas of mangrove is the baobab does not grow in a day. The baobab tree does not grow in a day. How would you interpret it?
Baobab does not grow
in a day.
A baobab does not grow in a day. Good. Yeah. I think to me, Altam is as some of these things that we see today. They are not born. They do not just happen. They are things that they have been happening eventually. You know, they have been conversations have been underway. Things have been happening, and I would equate it like to what do you call it? A pregnancy. So I'll say, a pregnancy does not just happen. Yes, even if I've seen, there are several women. I think I have seen. They have not. I didn't see them with a big belly.
To be very careful
with a big belly, but all of a sudden they are having infants. And then I inquired and I was told, yeah, there are women whose bellies do not pop out.
True.
Big time, but so the same as same as the pregnancy does not just happen. It starts from somewhere. The planting, even pregnancies planted like that, and then it is seen whenever it matures. So that is what I would term it as. Yes,
process. It's planted.
Interesting analogy. True.
Thank you.
How has the week been? What did it look like? Of course, we're looking at it from a youth perspective now. And this is a week away from the commemoration of the June 2024 protests against the finance bill. Finance bill has been passed now. And I'm going to repeat. By a majority of votes in Parliament, the finance bill has been passed.
Well, the week has been good. It's been cold. I hear that Kamaya comes from a cold place. It is not cold as compared from where I come from. Come from Limuru. It's quite cold actually. This morning it was very cold.
Nice.
And it's still very cold, but it's a good weather. We love it. It's a weather that attracts money. So, finance bill. This country is a funny place to live in with funny leaders. We have been having a finance bill of 2023 to Kateta, 2024 to Kaukufa, 2025 Wakatua, now 2026. We have been having this conversation about this bill for a long time now, since they started giving us signals of what is in the bill. We discussed, and now here we are. The same members of Parliament who we have been complaining about over and over again. 162 members were present. 122 said yes. 40 said no. Out of a house that has 349. So I wonder what those other seats were doing empty. And these are people who have been elected by the people to represent the people, to live for the people, to work for the people. Now, when 100 plus were absent, and absent doing what? And these people were entirely elected. They were employed by the people of Kenya to go and actually represent the people of Kenya. But the members of parliament we have today, the majority of them, the 162, and maybe the majority who are not there as well, they represent William Samoei Ruto. They are there to sing and to cherry for William Ruto. They are there to tickle him and make him laugh, and that is what they have. That is what they are there to do. But they are not there to represent the people of Kenya. When we say that the bill was bad, it had queer bills like the VAT on M-Pesa, the access for KRA giving KRA getting access to records and for mobile money. What else? Mitumba, which was eventually exempted. Increase in VAT on farm products. When we talk about these things, and these members of parliament, they just don't, they don't want to listen to what we say. It is very saddening, because the same members of parliament, they represent a people in their constituencies where people are going through a lot. The same members of parliament, they have families, they have relatives, they have friends, but their work is to tickle the president, and it's quite unfortunate. But just like 2024, 2025, mtindo ni ule. Akileta mbwekse, tunaleta mbwekse. Tutapatana kwa street. It's coming. Yes.
Okay, that's what's coming from your mind.
Yes.
Jimmy Gikwa joins us this morning as well, youth and governance analyst. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And he's also a good friend of William Ruto.
Well,
and from the great, okay, it's not great, the party, the ruling party.
Yes,
and you see,
that
is how they get late even.
Let's let him tell us about what he thinks coming from his own mouth. Like I said, thank you for joining us, albeit late.
Okay.
We're looking at the weekend review.
Yes.
Of course, coming up from what happened last night in terms of the passing of the finance bill, which then very quickly would become the Finance Act before the 1st of July. What's your take on how the week went?
I generally think the week was brilliant, nice, and I'm happy actually the finance bill went through, because in 2024, 2025, they had the same scenario, but at least by then there was something to talk about. Now, the people who were actually propagating for any change did not even have an idea. They looked like duldos in parliament. I'm sorry to say, most of what they were saying was not practical, and they did not bring out something that was a vibe for the electorate in the country. Basically, what they were doing was trying to cloud chase. Being a near next to election, they were trying also to whip the emotions, which unfortunately didn't work. And I'm really happy, because Kenyans are also awoke. Because again, it was the 30 people who were from that other party that was created the other day. And their kind of thinking is what is messing this country, because
30 people from one party that voted in parliament yesterday?
No, a grouping, not basically. We have two groupings. We have the Linda Mwananchi and the Munyororo thing. So basically, it was just a communication of the two. What are we calling them now? The opposition, the acting opposition as per se.
These are the ones who voted against the finance bill in parliament yesterday, according to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were some of the issues that come out to play?
Some of the issues, like
allow me to finish the question.
Yeah.
That come out to play that could have been representation issues for which members of parliament said maybe you can't do this for Kenyans or not. What are some of those?
I think majorly the biggest problem was from what I saw, from what Kenyans saw, 90% of them didn't even read the bill, because when asked by the majority leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, on some of the clauses they were saying that were there, actually somebody asked for some specs, and I say, I love your specs, they're nice.
Thank you.
Basically, somebody asked, and the speaker of the day actually told him, I'll give you my specs. So what they're trying to propagate, what I just had my brother here talk about the Mitumba levy and the Mitumba taxes. From what I had John Buddy, the CS for finance, say, it was a long shot in terms of making the any levies or taxes to be paid at the source, not come and do double taxation or put on more levies when the product is in the country. So I do not see where they were fighting for any mwananchi, because they have not brought out anything of concern to the electorate as per se.
Gekwa, there is a concern. Let's just follow up on the processes that went into the passing of the bill.
Yes.
If you look at the time when the budget statement was read in Parliament, the first reading and second reading, even as members of Parliament were giving their submissions before the House, there is a feeling that the Speaker at the time and members who were in the House did not give time for members to prosecute their agenda, because there was a lot of interference from those who were supporting the bill. That even the decision that was made, that was on Wednesday, to push to Thursday for finally the Committee of the Whole House, where members would have an opportunity to go through clause by clause, there was a lot of interference that would see members of Parliament not able to prosecute their matters on the floor of the House. What would be your response to that, and why do you think members supporting the bill were making it difficult to those who had issues or were pushing for amendments to do their job?
Like I said, again, I'll repeat myself a bit, and as I answer your question, what was happening in the House of Parliament is basically what is supposed to happen. There was a majority who were trying to push out something. There was a minority who were trying to have their say in one way or the other. But as they were trying to do that, we are trying to fight something that has been a big problem in this country, is miscommunication and distortion of facts, which, unless anybody who genuinely had a good issue that would have been discussed, debated, and amended, none of them came up, and I would say none of them came up with anything substantial for the common mwananchi. What they were doing was, it was more of a heckling match from this guy to this guy and this guy to this guy. So basically what I'm trying to put across is, it was wrong, and I saw the majority leader of the Republic of Kenya in the Parliament, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, state, we cannot use this house as a house of propaganda, a house of misrepresentation in terms of facts that are not verified, to some of the people who are actually propagating on the same, who are actually shouting and not making any sense in terms of what they were putting across. So basically, it was just a lot of hula baloo from people who wanted to cloud chase, because if you remember what happened in 2024, it was a really disgusting scenario in terms of we lost a lot of lives, because some of the communication that was done, some of the communication was right, some was not wrong. People who had the idea that we needed to also talk. We need to talk as a country. We also need to understand some things as a country. But when we have people propagating for their own interests, then now we are not going anywhere.
Yep. Come on, let me bring you even as a response to him. There is different sectors had their say, had their submissions before various committees on their concerns. You talk about the manufacturers, you talk about the Mutumba individuals, you talk about the retailers of mobile phones as well. Everybody has had their say with regard to what the bill would do and the cost of doing business on the same. And you listen to some of the members of Parliament while they were on the floor of the House submitting, there was a lot of interference, because you're given 3 minutes and there is constant distraction for anyone to submit. Was there an intentional push to have this bill pass, as it were, without amendments?
And it's actually what I was coming to counter as well. It was deliberate. Everything that was happening in that house was deliberate, and I would back it up by saying the MP for Funyula. MP is called Wilberforce Oundo, said that whoever made this bill is not, one, might not be a Kenyan and does not live in Kenya and does not understand the people of Kenya, what they are going through, and does not have the interest of Kenyans at heart. The so-called minority leader, Junet Mohammed, he said, it does not matter where you come from or what you do. If the bill comes to the floor of the House, now what we do with it is what that matters. And what we will do is what we will do. And whatever we will do is what will go and what will sell. What has that person told you? That we are here to push. We are here on an agenda. We are not here to, to criticize, to look at things factually. We are not here to intensively negate this matter with fairness. We are here to push what we have been told to push. And with all fairness, in my community we say, by that I mean, whatever meets the eye, you don't need to internalize it. You just see it, you hear it, and you will know whatever it is happening. So when my brother comes here to tell us he is happy that the bill passed, I am not aware where he lives or what he does and the friends he has with whatever we are having here in the floor of the House. I think he doesn't want to tell us that he is happy that M-Pesa transactions are going to be taxed. Is he okay with the farm inputs being removed from zero rated and to 16%, such that even right now we cannot afford feeds. I'm a farmer myself. We cannot afford feeds to feed the pigs, the cows, the chicks. Most of us we run to Uganda to buy maize jam, Poland, because the feeds here in Kenya sometimes their prices are crazy. But from what we get after this bill has passed, what will happen to the farmers? Is what my brother Geko here is telling me, that he is okay KRA accessing all our mobile transactions. Where is our privacy here? Are we working for the government?
Well, you raise pertinent questions, and apparently this bill, finance bill, seems to be okay or not okay, depending on the political side one assumes. But if we look at it critically, we need to understand that as a country, the budget, we finance it ourselves. And the government operates on only two things: revenue that they get from us through taxes and levies, and borrowing. When you look at it, regardless of your political divide today, are you satisfied when you look at the ending financial year in 2 weeks' time, thereabout, by the performance of our budget? Because a lot of Kenyans are saying they do not have confidence on how we are managing our economy. From where you see it, Jimmy, in your opinion, are you satisfied that if you were to rate the performance of our previous year, knowing that we have not had a published public debt, we don't know how much we owe, but in this 4.8 trillion, we'll be paying 2.3 trillion by end of this year in terms of debt. Are you satisfied by the performance of the management of our economy as we talk of it today, before we even go to the next financial year?
By and large, I think I'm mostly very comfortable. Very comfortable because first, we have not been red flagged by any international institution, any financial institution on our lack.
But we have. IMF just said we need to publish our debt.
But it has not red flagged us on non-payment of any of our debt obligation as a country. So I think William has done a brilliant job. It come from 2022 to now also. Or imposing again, he's also taken quite a colossal amount in terms of the debt. He's also piled up on the debt. But as we were, I listened to a gentleman called Jimmy Maina Wanjigi, and I think I like his analysis on most of the things. And he talks about the debt burden we have. The debt burden we have may be fiscal in terms of what is there. The practicability of running a country and the practicability of having a debt, to be able to handle a debt. I think so far, as a country, we are taking the brunt because of people's problems for the last 20 years. And the last 20 years means even the debt that we are taking right now is going to the current expenditure and running government and paying debts. So
But we shouldn't. Constitutionally speaking,
yes,
that should not be the practice.
But now we have a country to run. Again,
no, but it's against the law.
It's against the law. We are guided by a constitution.
Yes.
We are led by the law.
But
so even this finance bill and the previous
irregardless.
one, no, that cannot be regardless.
Irregardless. That's what I'm telling you. You know why I'm saying.
Let's breathe for a moment.
You know why I'm saying regardless is because
can we just be careful to note that you're not saying that you're going to take the Constitution and put it aside
in the pocket? No, we are not doing that.
Is that what you're saying?
What are we doing? Because
no. I'm asking what you are saying.
Yes, exactly.
By saying
exactly
irregardless.
Irregardless, I was putting. We have a practical solution. The Constitution can be amended. True or false?
It has not yet been.
But we amend the Constitution. We amend laws. We amend rules. We amend caps and everything.
Yes.
We have a situation where we may not be able to wait for some parliamentary process to make us get to somewhere or run a country, something that would cost the country more harm than good.
Which is what?
Basically, probably even the debt burden as it is. Our obligations as a country. The cost of living for the common mwananchi. We are looking at now at a situation where we have a problem with our fuel levies, and we have a problem with that is global.
But you don't need to amend the Constitution to publish, to do an audit of our public debt to know in actuality how much do you know. But the reason I'm raising this, because a significant portion of the budget, almost 50%, is going to finance the debt. Which 90% is odious, was not approved by Parliament.
So that is why I'm saying.
And we don't need to amend the Constitution to deal with that item.
Yes, that is why I'm saying, and I want to be very clear on this.
Right.
We have an odious debt for 20 years. We cannot now have the miracle to come and do what is supposed to be done for the last 20 years. And already we are in a problem. We have to be practical in running a country. Country is run by our taxes. A country is me and you.
Correct.
So somebody takes the bullet or makes the hard decision in the whole erroneous process. So we have had an erroneous process for the last 20 years. We don't expect to make it clean now when we're already in a shithole.
What language?
We see.
Sorry. When we're already in a problem, in a very big problem in terms of what is happening on the debt issue. I've listened, like I was saying, I like quoting him because I think he's very factual on what he does and his research on the budgets and the debt burdens we have. He actually said by the time William took government, we were at 84 shillings to 100. But now we are at 93 shillings to 100. So we are going deeper into a debt burden, and nobody wants to take the hard bullet in terms of telling Kenyans how we get out.
So you're saying the way to do this is to borrow more money?
Not necessarily borrow more money, but actually we don't have we actually don't have.
We
don't have a remedy to not borrow.
No, we do.
We do.
We do. It's very easy.
Number one, we have not been able for the last 3 years. We have not been able to meet our quotas.
Why?
In KRA.
Why?
Collection.
Why?
Collection.
You can't collect.
Collection. There is collection. There is the people who are tax evasion, which is supposed to also be checked in Parliament as much as it should be checked in KRA. We also have other issues in terms of. We have also done a lot of zero rating on so many things, and given so many incentives to outside.
And how much money have you borrowed in the last 3 years?
3 to 4 trillion.
It is more than that.
Yes. No,
but you see, the problem, and Kamau, you may chime in on this.
No, not now. We're going to take a break. We can chime away after that. Go ahead. Ask your question.
This current budget, the finance bill you are looking at, is seeking to borrow more than 1.1 trillion again to mop savings from Kenyans. Yet the cost of living does not go down. I'm asking this because you said you're okay and you're comfortable with the passing of the finance bill. If we, the majority of Kenyans, are not comfortable with the cost of living, which you agree is high.
All of us are not comfortable.
And that should be one of the metrics we use to measure whether the economy is performing.
Yes.
The inflation, the GDP ratio, the debt ratio, they are not balancing.
Yes.
You understand these basic economics.
Yes.
How then do we sit down and... We're saying that one of the metrics we look at is the cost of living.
Yes.
We keep talking about the GDP, talk about inflation and the debt ratio. If the cost of living is high, if we are seeking to borrow again more than 1.1 trillion in this financial year, how do we turn around and say that yes, indeed, we have a proper finance bill? And yet, every day Kenyans are saying, one, the cost of living is unbearable, which we all agree. Everything has gone up. He said he's a farmer. You ask anybody, the cost of eggs is almost 20 bob, a basic food item.
Yes.
So how do we say that yes, this government is serving the interest of people? It's not about the government getting its way because the finance bill was passed. It is about the impact. There is what we call the expected value that you get from a legislation. Are you satisfied here today that this regime, this administration, is serving the interest of Kenya?
Let me answer that in a very nice, simple way. When we did not have a budget in 2024-2025, we lost 2 trillion in borrowing because we used what are they called, supplementaries all the way for the full financial year. Mm-hmm. We lost 2 trillion, so it was not making any sense to me. What we were trying to save is actually we lost double what we are actually going to borrow in this fiscal year. Come now 2026-2027 budget. Mm-hmm. So when we look at the finance bill, more of a government initiated process, we lose it, because me and you are government. The debt burden we have in this country, which I want us to also be practical, is not going anywhere, and which affects even our international trade in terms of if we do not get some of the obligations right, it means even our own businesses. For instance, we have seen the MPs put tax on imported sugars and all that to protect our farmers. Some of the commodities like sugar are something we are not self-sufficient in. So is fuel, and so is even rice. The normal rice we get from where cannot feed our electorate, or rather cannot feed our country as it is. So we do a lot of importations that may be hindered or may have more implications to our common day meal on the table. So that the budget, and I see in the budget process that has come in 2026, government actually lost a lot in terms of the proposals from Treasury, from the finance docket. They lost to, for instance, even the KRA trying to collect some of the pending bills through the tribunals, and all MPs actually, the nays had the day. So government lost in terms of its ways of making money to sort out some of the debt issues.
Well, I hear that. However, it becomes difficult to have a conversation where it's not very factual. The president said in 2024 that we had sugar surplus in terms of production. Today,
evidence.
Yes. Yeah. So there was no shortage in terms, and they even cancelled the allocation for importation. Yes. That's a fact. Today, we have farmers from who are saying they have rice that they have not been able to offload to the market, and yet we are still a net importer of rice. So these facts they also factor in. And you're talking about the cost of living. If we were self-sufficiently producing for ourselves, some of these products would go down. But that's beside the point, because here we're looking at the financial policy. This bill is going to play out for the next 12 months. Yes. Today, they have passed a supplementary budget of 18 billion. Money they need to mop up in the next 2 weeks before they start spending the next load. So, from where you stand, government is you and I, it is true. So, government did not lose anything. The proposals were just ploys to try and get away with the bare minimum. The question is this: are we as Kenyans today? Because that, in my opinion, the most incompetent National Assembly we've had so far has failed us. When half of the MPs do not show up to participate, and we have sent them there to be our representatives, when they do not show up to participate on a matter that is going to affect how much you pay for fuel, how much you pay for food, how much you pay for school fees, how much capitation you're going to get, how much goes to each and every expenditure of our taxes, how can we sit down and say that the country has a finance bill that is fit for Kenyans?
The repercussions, I think what they are fearing is, my small brother, the repercussions, I think what most of them are fearing is the 2024-2025 scenario where most actually even lost their houses, or some were burnt down and all that. And also being very close to an election, I think the abstinence was very loud, having cited what happened then. So
and does that not worry you?
It basically worries me, but again, also as an electorate, we have been very harsh at some point on them in terms of their legislation and all that, and what they do. So representation in this country now has to change in one way or the other, because I think they have, and basically government has to come up with a way of getting the locals, the mwananchi, on the table for them to do any discussion, because now it is not business as usual.
So come on. Yes, it is not business as usual. And Jimmy says we may not have much to do about the debt, but true, we can stop paying the odious debt. Money that we don't know, that it did not come to a consolidated fund, we can stop paying immediately as soon as today. And we will see this budget reduce. Kamau, what do you think about the representatives not showing up?
Well, to me, and I might have a contrary opinion with everyone, I think MPs should be scrapped off. And I'm saying this, I'm saying this as a future aspiring member of parliament for Limuru constituency. I think those other responsibilities of a member of parliament should be scrapped off, and the members of parliament should be left with one role: legislate. This money that we give them, CDF, you go do that, they should be given one role: represent and legislate, because that is the core. And we should also revisit, my brother was talking about the constitution, we should also revisit the requirements of electing a member of parliament. Right now the constitution says that only a member of parliament only needs a birth certificate to be a member of parliament, and maybe class 8 certificate. But is that really what we want as a government? You know, also we have, we as electorates, we bring ourselves these problems. We elect people who are dunderheads, people who have money, people who steal money, and when they go to bring back, to profit themselves, we are here crying. That is one for the electorates. And number two, so they should be dealt with going forward, because we are already here in this mess. KRA is not collecting enough because the government and the people and the government, William Ruto, is making it hard for KRA to collect more tax on Kenyans. This guy is imposing bills and taxes that are heinous to people to do business. Companies have closed down. Since William Ruto came to power, we have over 1,000 companies that have closed down. So many businesses, so many people have been rendered unemployed because of this regime. That is why KRA is, if you want to collect more, grow the tax base, widen and broaden the tax base, so that you'll collect kidogo mingi itatoshekana. But now, even now, when you start taxing M-Pesa, you start taxing mayai, meat. Even meat, I saw even meat is being taxed. When you tax food that is being eaten by the cow, by the goats, you have taxed it, my friend. So you're making it even a much more expensive. You're making meat to be a luxury, my brother.
Now,
so let me finish. So
you're taxing
number two,
the cow.
You're taxing even the cow, my friend. You've asked him why our finance be still the same. We don't grow. We have been having finance bill back forth. We lost 2 trillion. Then Jimmy Wanjigi is saying that we should scrap off these debts, that we no longer know what they did for us. I'm telling you, the problem in this country is corruption. Is thieves. William Ruto, even I'm saying even here, and I hope we will touch on this. These daylight thefts, you know,
I mean,
what we're having here, you know. But anyway,
Kamau.
Yes.
We talk about wastage in the country because we're saying our revenue, Kenya does not have a revenue problem. We have an expenditure problem. And why is that? Because of wastage and corruption that we see every day. You ask how we lose 2 trillion. It has not been objected that we lose around 3 billion shillings a day. If you do your math in a year, that's around 1 trillion shillings that just gets lost through wastage and corruption, right? And now you have to read that together with the fact that today, with all the trillions, 12 trillion shillings, almost 13 trillion shillings in terms of debt, and we always ask the question, if we sit today, where is 13 trillion shillings in the country that is Kenya, where you and I can say we see value for money? Odious debt, what can we do about it? Stop paying, because the law is clear on how we borrow and what that money ought to do. If you borrow money to construct road that goes from Gikwa to Kamau Road, and you use that money to pay teachers, that is against the law. Kenyans should not pay for money that was borrowed to do a specific project, and it did not do that. The individuals who misused that money should pay for that. And that goes way back to whoever broke the law at that point. Is it a concern today that even in this budget, all you're doing is perpetuating and perpetrating illegality over and over again?
And it is true. But now the problem with our president today and the heinous debts that we are having, and culminating the finance bill, and then going down to trickling down to the fuel prices, is because we tend to I wanted to say, let me do say the language. I'm looking for a better word. Is because we are able to tunabembeleza sana mzungu. For lack of a better word, I wanted to say licking these people. These people, we tend to bembeleza IMF too much. We tend to bembeleza US, China too much. And even we saw and they do not care about us. You saw in a photo the other day, the president was in a line where he was greeting the G7, but nobody cared about him. He was just standing there with the hand. Nobody wanted to talk to him, and I felt bad. I was saddened by that scenario, that our president, nobody cares about him, nobody cares about what he does. They just want to use him and for him to use us, and we are the ones who are going to feel the pain, the pinch. If now the problem is he cannot stop paying these debts because he is in bed with these people. He is talking with these people day and night, and they are having deals. The problem with our president is he is running this country like a company. He is doing what he himself benefits from.
Is that propaganda?
No, it's not.
Can you substantiate on that?
How do we know that this is actually a case, that there can be perception, but then we need to be careful about what we're saying is actually happening on those lines, based on what we see? You know, some of the things that we see as perception is not always the case. So we just have to maybe temper that with some facts, that's what's happening. It's clear that some of the policies that financial institutions place on countries can be accepted or they can be refused. And that then becomes the purview of that particular country to then do that. The question here that I would like to ask as we look into some of these things that have happened over the week is whether the people take the front line in terms of representation in this country. Are the things that are being done, whether they are being done on a local level or an international level, representative of the people? Can we see that really happening? Besides your political aspirations, beside your political affiliation, if we look at what the Constitution says and the people that are supposed to be protected, represented, and legislated for and over, can we see that people actually take the number one spot?
No.
They don't.
100% no.
So the members of parliament should be scrapped off, like you saying.
Basically, I've looked at everything that has been happening in this country. For instance, I'll give a good example and not name names because of obvious issues. I am a member of the ruling coalition. And at some point, I really get agitated in terms of there's very small things that happen that really don't make sense to me in terms of representation. Because like the fuel demonstrations, we lost 12 lives. It only needed one government spokesman to come out, just tell the people, just talk to the people. It was a 10-minute meeting. 30-minute meeting would have saved 12 lives. Because so I think we don't come in as number one. We have never come in as number one in this country, and that is basically the problem we have. Not because of any political affiliation, but because I think that they have made a cocoon where it's their stomach first, then we come second, then we also come and handle the problem. People lose lives, then again they come and act as the good managers. We have members of parliament now who are supposed to be representing constituencies, who are basically garnering for gubernatorial, senatorial. They just lost the mark from the day they were elected. So as much as we try, my brother usually tries and portrays the president in a negative. I think the president has been trying to push people who are more sinister with their own motives. Because it
push them where?
Push them in terms of push them into his agenda, because his agenda was not wrong for this country in any way.
His agenda was on promises.
Housing.
His agenda was on particular things that people are still complaining about today.
Yes, but basically it needs a lot of support and a lot of people who also take the back in terms of the practicability of what is happening. People who can go and sit down with the president and tell him, Your Excellency, we support you, but this is not what
But that does not happen.
It doesn't happen.
So that doesn't happen. So
Yes,
is the
because
president then
everybody-
being hoodwinked into imagining that the people of the country are satisfied and they're not?
150%.
But you see,
So the president is acting on a fallacy. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily a fallacy, but misfacts.
That's what a fallacy is.
Missed facts.
Well, I do.
A fallacy is an outright right.
No.
Yeah, a lie.
It's a 200 fact.
Yes.
That's a fallacy. Half true, half wrong. Now, the truth is, I agree with you when you say it is not a people-centered regime.
Yeah. Not regime.
Well, even the
It
representation...
has never been, actually.
Fine, it has never been, it is not.
Yes.
And again, it takes us back to the finance bill. Where do we split the line and say, this far is not people-centered, but this side is people-centered? That is why people are saying, the likes of Kamau, that come next week, as they hold the commemoration, the June 24th, which I know you also agree we do not need to lose those lives, just like we did not need to lose lives during the fuel protest. You do agree those people need to be commemorated, but also we need to agree further that unless we are keen on how policies are formulated,
Yes.
we are going to continue paying the price. And regardless of our political affiliation, this is what I keep saying, that even a dictatorship is good and sweet and favorable to you as a person as long as it is in power. The moment you lose that grace, you start paying feeling the wrath. Yes. So we have to be, and that's why you have a constitution. We don't want to be at the mercy of a president pushing people to do the right thing. We have separation of powers. We have offices. We have National Assembly, executive, and judiciary. We, as the people who are holding the power, at least for once and for all, let's put aside our political differences and agree that our economy, this finance bill, is just going to be more pain for the people of Kenya for the next 12 months.
I do not think so. I beg to differ on that, because I'm trying to look at it, and I have tried explaining. There is the reality. There is good words about the finance bill and all that. I do not see what happened last year that will not happen this year. Let's look at the practicability. We should be looking at how are we losing money? How are we supposed to get this money to pay? How are we supposed to put across policies that guard us from any finance bill? Because a finance bill, basically, I think sometimes is good on paper. Because what usually happens by and large is after the finance bill, the supplementaries come and push in the same things you people refused. So I do not see it has been happening for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, but that's why you need to correct it.
Actually,
it's been wrong, I agree.
After the 2024 Maandamano, the same things people are propagating, because of some misinformation, they are pushing in the same things you people refused. So I do not see it has been happening for the last 20 plus years. So basically, actually, after the 2024 Maandamano, the same things people are propagating, because of some misinformation, they are pushing in the same things you people refused. So I do not see it has been happening for the last 20 plus years. After the 2024 Maandamano, the same things people are propagating, because of some misinformation, they are I know why in the finance bill less than 1 year after.
Kamau.
You know, the president is being accused in this case, Igeko, and you seem to be so much agitated about these members of parliament not following what their master, but they're actually following what their master is doing. You say their master, you say that the president, you see, Igeko, you are this way because of how your father brought up, and likely to some level, you follow what your father used to do. The same way you were brought up.
No, he was a pastor.
Which is okay. You see,
I love my whiskey.
But you bring up your
Not
kids
necessarily.
in a disciplined manner that you are brought up by your father.
Ask the question, Mbiu, because our time is going.
What I'm saying is the members of parliament here, they follow what their master is doing. Geko is asking how money is getting lost. Joe is saying here, we are a country that we do not follow policies. The same man here is not following policies. The policy of public procurement. You know, as a procurement practitioner and a procurement consultant, this award of this contract to this guy called
It has not been awarded. Can we be very clear?
has
it been gazetted?
to IM Construction, which is headed there.
There's a contract.
The
There is.
Yes,
It is
but
a
the
contract.
CS was very, very.
Listen, Geko,
There's a contract.
let me
What we're
finish.
we
arguing
have
about
not
here
seen-
is the amount, and it has not been made public. Those are some
Yes,
things that we've been
thank
very
you.
clear on.
And
That's
Until
what
it
I'm
is
saying.
finalized through
the
PP,
contract. Listen,
Public
Okay, we're not
Procurement
going- okay.
Regulatory Authority.
Our time is up.
Yes.
So we're not going to argue on that.
yes.
In 10
what
seconds,
I'm
clear it up.
saying is, my brother, we need to have a president who is a follower of the constitution. He has put the constitution in his back pocket, and that is now he uses his head to control the nation. And it is on record. Even some advisors, they tell us William Ruto will advise you on how to advise him. So he needs to come out clearly for once, for heaven's sake, and try and lead this country with the constitution, with
All
the
right.
policies that are there.
Kamau Wa Mbiu is a Wiper NEC member, and Jimmy Gekwa is a youth and governance analyst. I mean, this could go on, but thank you
Yes.
both of you for being here.
Yes.
There are many things that come to the fore, and I think if something for us to go by this morning is that the people are not being represented,
100%.
and that is something that we should take
100%.
and take very seriously.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.